Good morning, my lovely people. So, this is a bit of a different one today. As you can see, it's a different setup. You're probably wondering, where on earth am I and what the hell am I doing? So, basically, it's a Monday morning. It is early. Well, it's not as early now, but I was up really early. Basically, my boyfriend had to come over to North Sydney to do something with his work. Um, and he's only going to be like a little bit. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get up early with you because I don't start work till later. And yeah, it gets me up, gets me out the house, and I wanted to film a video for you guys. So I was like, I can sit down with you guys, chat to you, have a coffee, just be out and about. And then once he's done, I think we'll do like a walk or something before I then have to start work. But yeah, I'm basically in the car at the moment, going to chat to you guys, do some bits on my phone, and then I might get out and about and maybe do like a walk or something. I'm not really too sure where I am. I'm not too sure where this part of North Sydney is. I don't really spend very much time over this side. I actually did used to live in North Sydney and I did really like it. But for me, it's more convenient being on the other side of the bridge because it's just a little bit easier and quicker to get to the places I spend most time in Sydney. But anyway, I'm rambling. I still feel like I'm half asleep. I do have my coffee. Um, and I also am using the mic today, so it's not the best mic. It kind of sounds quite robotic, I think. But then when I don't use it, it's not quite loud enough. So I'm still, finding that balance so it's nice for you guys to listen to. I feel like people walking by are probably just thinking, what the hell is this girl doing? Like, they're probably just thinking influencers these days because I have like my tripod set up in the back of the car. But I think these windows are tinted. So I think unless you proper look, you can't really see in that well. But anyway, I think I'm going to take off my coat, get comfortable, and then let's chat. I feel like I wonder how clearly you can see me because I feel like I just had like someone give me like a really weird look, unless it was just coincidence they were looking this way. But anyway, I don't care. I'm just going to keep going. Um, but yeah, so today I want to talk to you guys more about my work, but without giving away too much like personal information, because obviously I don't want to tell the internet where I'm working, and I can't like give too much detail about certain situations because obviously it's my workplace. I'm sure some of you watching though will know where I work because I know some of my friends watch this. But yeah, I know I've touched upon working amongst the public and stuff in other videos, but I wanted to do a video purely on that, and I hope it can help people in similar situations. Now, I know people will say that working with the public and in customer service has always been challenging at times, and you've always had to deal with mentally ill people, just difficult people, etc., which is so true. Like, obviously, like, it's not, there's always been difficult people. But I've worked in customer service pretty much my whole adult life. I have always worked in jobs where I'm dealing with people. In fact, I don't think I have ever done a job that hasn't been working with people. I'm trying to think to all the jobs I've done, and other than a bloody paper round when I was like, how old would I have been? Like 15 or something? I don't know, because it was the only job I could get because of my age and stuff. Um, Other than that, I don't think I've ever not done a job that is working around people. Um, so I have definitely noticed that in 2026, and this kind of happened, this started to happen around last year, so 2025, that working in customer service has become more and more challenging. So, like I said, there's always been difficult people that you have to deal with, and people that are going to make comments that are so unnecessary and unwanted. But what I have noticed over the time, and like I said, particularly around last year in 2025, is these people and these types of unwanted interactions and just uncomfortable in like extremely badly uncomfortable, because I know sometimes people are like, being in uncomfortable situations is good, but I'm talking about the bad kind. It's just happening more frequently, and it's actually unbelievable. And it's to the point where, well, it's not unbelievable anymore. Sorry guys, because of the time it is now, there is a lot of people kind of like walking by, because obviously a lot of people are like off to work and stuff. So I'm just getting like really distracted, and I'm just wondering how clearly people can see in these windows. I'm pretty sure they're pretty tinted. Yeah. So anyway, it's getting to the point where now, when you have like a actual nice interaction with someone and they're really thankful and like full on like come in, and because I'm on a reception desk, so let's like, without giving too much away of like my job, I'm a receptionist basically. So yeah, it's to the point where when people come in and they're full on like smiley, say hello, asking how I am and stuff, I'm like, I'm a bit shocked sometimes. I'm like, whoa, someone's acknowledging me. Because not only are those like horrible interactions with angry people getting worse, but people just even acknowledging me as they walk in and past the desk is becoming less and less. And yeah, you could say like people are just in their zone coming in, like it's, not a big deal. But when your job is a receptionist, and once your shift starts and right till the end, unless you're on a break, is being on that reception desk and dealing with the public your whole shift. And to get into my workplace, you have to walk past the desk. Imagine doing that job. And again, your role is customer facing. Like, your job is to greet people and give them a positive experience as they walk through the doors and when they leave. And imagine continuously, gosh, I don't know if you heard that, that's my belly growling at me, but imagine people just walking in and leaving and just continuously ignoring you. And like, I mean, to the point where sometimes I'll say hello, and because obviously sometimes you might not hear, which is fine. That's a different story. Because sometimes I think I talk quite quietly. Um, but like, imagine people actually hearing you say hello and looking dead at you, um, and then just looking away and walking in. So they've heard you because they look at you, but there's no expression there. And then they look away and walk on in. That is, imagine that continuously. It becomes so deflating and draining, just continuously feeling like you're being completely like blanked, as if you're just some brick wall or robot that it's not worth their time to just even smile. If people look and they smile or they nod, that's all we want. But when they just look at you with no expression, as if you're a piece of shit, basically, and then look away and walk on in, you're just like, and like I said, you could give them the benefit of the doubt and say people are in their zone, which I do a lot. I'll always try and find the silver lining, as they say, and I'm okay. I'm not, I'm an adult. I know how to handle my emotions, and, I'm not going to cry about it. But like I said, imagine this is your full-time job and this is happening pretty much one after another with people. I think that's one of the reasons so many people say they feel lonely and they're lacking that human interaction. But when I see stuff like that, I think, well, some people aren't helping themselves. Just even a smile and nod, acknowledgement can change how you're feeling. So, yeah, if you're not even acknowledging the person, like when you walk into a shop, when you go to fill up your car, whatever it is, you go to a doctor's appointment, the dentist, you go into a gym, if you're not acknowledging the person that's working there, who's standing on the desk, I don't know, it's just something so small, it's so little, And it just feels like even that is something that we're missing today. Don't get me wrong, there are some really nice people, but this is more about like the downside of being a receptionist, and something I am just noticing more and more. So there's that I've just talked about, like completely just being blanked. And then there's other ones when people come in on a phone call, I find so rude. I think it's different if it's like a one-off and they're on a work call or whatever, and they're talking, they kind of look over, smile, acknowledge, and then walk in. That's different, because I understand there's some people that are super busy and in really important jobs, but there's some that will do it almost every time they come in and have the cheek to even come up to me because they'll be wanting something, but they're still on their phone call with like their like AirPods in, their headphones, whatever. So I'm like thinking, are they talking to me right now, or are they on the phone? Because they're like looking at me whilst on their call, trying to ask me for something, and then like start being like this, as if to be like, do I have a pen and paper so they can write down what they need whilst they're on their call? Look, I know some of you might be like, okay, well, you know, if you're busy, they're still trying to communicate, like blah, blah, blah. Again, give them the benefit of the doubt. But I find that so rude. I find that really, really rude, especially people that do it almost every time they come in, as if, because it gives off the vibe, I'm so important. I'm on this call that's more important than being polite and having a normal human interaction with you. Like, if you know you're coming into a place where you need to talk to the receptionist, don't be on your phone, or have your phone call and then come in and talk to me like a normal human being. It's just, as a receptionist, quite often you're really looked down upon, as if you don't deserve the same treatment as they would give somebody else. Like, you wouldn't probably act like that in your workplace or where you're trying to set a good example. So don't come in and treat like service workers any less. Like, still treat them with the same respect. So that's something that I find very annoying too. And then there'll be people that hover around the reception area on their work calls, or not even work calls sometimes, because obviously I'll be able to hear bits of the conversation, and they'll have it on loudspeaker just next to the desk, loudspeaker, shouting down the phone. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, I'm here trying to work and answer phone calls as well. You've come into a business, a service. So I'm here trying to work, answer phone calls, and do emails myself. Yet you think it's okay to come on in and have your work call on loudspeaker, shouting away, as if what I'm doing is less important. And again, it's just the cheek of it. It's just so rude. I look at these things and I just think, I personally would never do that myself. I would feel very rude going into a business, a company, a service, and just standing there with my phone on loudspeaker, shouting down the phone to it, like disrespecting the people around me, and knowing that I could be making them feel uncomfortable, or just, I guess I don't even need to explain this kind of stuff. It should just speak for itself. Like, people should just know basic manners and how to act in a public space, but clearly not. How nice is that, guys? The sun's starting to shine in. Look how nice, like, all the tree and the green looks. But yeah, so just basic manners, really. Anyway, I'm sure there's so much more, but that's kind of just touching upon like basic manners. But then there's actually some serious stuff as well in terms of safety and just making people feel extremely uncomfortable with unwanted comments and not respecting people's space. So we'll touch upon some, which again, I'm not going to get into too much because it's not information I should be giving away. But something I have noticed more of as well is, as a receptionist, you're not just doing what your job role is anymore. It feels like as time is going on, more and more things that again aren't supposed to be part of your job role are beginning to be. So basically, let's just say it outright. Not only do I feel like a receptionist, which I am, I feel like a therapist these days. So I don't know. I feel like probably because of how heavy things are in the world right now, and just mental health in a lot of people being really not good, people not knowing where to turn to, because I am just standing there and I'm always there, so regulars begin to get to know me and I'm not moving anywhere, like I have to be on that desk. Gradually, people start talking to me more. People start telling me their problems, which at first is okay, right? It feels like, okay, like this is kind of passing time. And, you know, if you're in customer service, a lot of the time, you're going to be a people person anyway and enjoy that communication, else you're not going to last long, trust me. Um, Sorry to say, but yeah, you need a lot of patience and be able to deal with people and enjoy being around people to an extent. Um, so yeah, at first it feels okay. It's like, okay, this passes time. I'm enjoying learning about these people. But there's definitely a point where it can become too much, too overwhelming and draining. So everything begins to build up because you're not only there doing your job, which can be tiring anyway. Look, everyone finds their job tiring at times. You've got your jobs that you need to do anyway, which, as I say, can be tiring anyway because you're working full time. You know, everyone gets tired from their jobs. But then you're adding in this aspect of, again, feeling a bit like a therapist. People coming to you with their problems, and some of the things people tell me at that desk are really intense. And I mean to the point where some people will literally tell me that they're feeling like really, really low, like really, really low. And that can be hard to deal with because we're not therapists. We're not trained therapists. We don't really have the tools to deal with people when they're in that kind of mental state. And yeah, it can just become a lot to deal with because as well I find, and again, I'm pretty good with letting things go over my head as a whole, but imagine, like I said, from the start of your shift till the end, you were there on a reception desk, you can't leave, and you just have to talk and deal with these people. And it's gonna look, naturally it's gonna start affecting you, especially when you're just tired and drained anyway. And yeah, the problem is we're not trained, licensed therapists, so we don't have the tools to deal with people properly when they're in this kind of mental state. And when you are dealing with people in this kind of mental state, it feels very heavy, it feels dark, and it starts kind of making you think of your own problems even more and stuff. And I hope this makes sense, and I hope people that work in customer service will know where I'm coming from with this. And you just need a minute to just take a deep breath, but you don't really get that minute because, like I said, you have to stay on that desk. And there's definitely been times where I've just had to go into the office because I'm like, Jesus Christ, like because like I said, you can't leave. There'll be some people that will just stand there for ages. And especially when you're someone like me, I find it really hard to shut down someone, especially when they're talking to me about some really like serious stuff. And yeah, sometimes they just won't leave, and they'll be standing there for like 40 minutes sometimes. And they'll stay there even when other customers come up to the desk. They'll stand there and wait till like you're finished dealing with that customer, and then they'll continue. And it's like, it's a lot. So there has been times where I've just had to leave the desk for a second and run into the office and just like take a big breath, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is a lot. So yeah, not only are you dealing with people that completely act like you're not even there, like you're a brick wall, you're also dealing with people that almost expect too much from you. And I guess sometimes energy vampires. Like sometimes when I finish my shift, I feel like the life has been sucked out of me. Like I'm all for helping people, and I do feel like you need to talk about things, but you also need to read the room, know the time and place, and be respectful, because at the same time, I personally feel like that's quite disrespectful to go into a place where the person is just trying to work and do their job and offload to them. It is quite selfish if you think about it, because you're putting all of your problems onto someone that isn't there for that. So yeah, there's that. I've also recently had people actually come behind the desk and come like right up to me, which again, who does that? I can never imagine going into someone's place. Like imagine turning up for like my doctor's appointment or the dentist or something and coming behind their desk, unless they ask me to, because sometimes we actually do ask people to come around and look at the screen, look at the computer. We're trying to show them something. But I'm talking about people that I have not asked them to come around, and they'll literally come behind the desk and be like this close to me, which again, who does that? Please tell me if any of you guys that work behind a desk have experienced that before from people coming in, because I don't know, I just think there's boundaries. Like there's just no rules anymore. To go behind a desk where the worker is, it really is like, I don't know, it's just like so disrespectful. It's like it makes us feel like it's just not safe. It's like it's like your home, right? You have your walls, your locked doors, and you feel safe. And it's like having an intruder, someone come into, it's like having someone then coming in and robbing you. It's, you don't feel safe. You feel like your safe space has been invaded. And when you have a desk where you feel like that's your place, and it's like a barrier between you and like an angry customer, and then to have someone literally come behind the desk, you're like, whoa, okay, like I don't know how to explain it. I think you guys will know where I'm coming from. But not only emotionally feeling unsafe, like in that kind of sense, we've seen how unpredictable people are. If someone's right up to me here and they go to lash out, like that's it. Like I don't know, people could have some sort of weapon, or like it's just it just baffles me. And we have an office space as well, and sometimes if we're short staffed or something, I may need to leave the desk and run into the office because our printer and all the admin stuff's in there, and people will literally just walk into our office. And again, it just baffles me, because I could never imagine going into someone's workplace and just walking into their office or going behind the desk. I just think it's so disrespectful. And again, makes that member, the customer, think they are so above us. But yeah, I'm seeing that a lot. I'm seeing people invade our space, coming right up to us, coming behind the desk, and it's just awkward. I had a lady do it the other day, and she was right up to me. She was telling me to type something up on the computer, to find what someone looked like or something, and I did it. And then she just comes behind the desk and was like, let me see, and just walks her way around and comes behind the desk and stood again this close to me talking. And I just felt so awkward. I mean, that's also my fault, because I should turn around and say like, oh, you can't be behind here. But I just wasn't expecting it. And I just felt like maybe her behavior, if I had said that, I just didn't want to piss her off, because she's I don't know, very unpredictable. And I just didn't also want to say anything that was going to make her angry. Like, I'm not going to get into that because, again, that's personal stuff I shouldn't talk about. But yeah, it just made me feel so uncomfortable, and I shouldn't be in that situation. Like, they should also just understand basic manners. Um, so yeah, that's one thing. Another thing I'm noticing is I've had a lot of girls coming down to me in tears, saying about men approaching them, and again making them feel super uncomfortable and ignoring them basically saying, no, I have a boyfriend or whatever, and then this person then just following them around, watching them the whole time they're upstairs. And yeah, I've had that conversation quite a few times where members have been in tears because of the way a man is making them feel on the gym floor. And yeah, just not reading social cues, not taking no for an answer, to the point where the girls feel super uncomfortable. Again, like I said, they're sometimes in tears and they come down to me and express this to me. And yeah, again, that can be difficult as well, because it's also, again, just emotionally draining and just shouldn't be happening. But I am noticing that more as well. And I don't hate men. So I'm all for men giving their shot. And if they like a girl, obviously making a move or whatever. But at the same time as well, it's like, read the room. If a girl has very clearly said no, or said they have a boyfriend or whatever it is, then yeah, read the room. Stop making people feel so uncomfortable. It's like we're just forgetting how to act these days. And I think I've just got, sorry, there's a really cute dog over there. It's huge. Um, oh my God, it's huge. It's like a big bear. But yeah, and I feel like these days in customer service, I know it's always been this way, but trust me, I've seen it get worse over the years. You have to have extremely tough skin, because sometimes when these girls come down really upset to me and they tell me what's happened, I'm thinking in my head, I've experienced this as well on the front desk. And I've realised how numb I've become to it, because these girls are coming down in tears and telling me they haven't experienced this before elsewhere. And I'm thinking, I experience this most days. And I'm thinking, I must have become so numb to it, and my skin must be becoming tougher, that yeah, I just like have to let it go over my head now. And it's just kind of, it gave me a realization that that's sad, isn't it, really, that I'm just becoming so used to this horrible behavior from other humans, and the disrespect, the lack of respect, the way they talk to us, the way they just ignore us, the way they just start shouting and get so nasty when we're trying to help. And to be shocked when people are actually friendly and overly thankful, that's sad, isn't it, really, that we've come to that. And I think and again, I could go into all these other things and I could talk about all these other things that have happened, but I don't want to give away too much stuff about my workplace and I don't want to talk about specific things, But yeah, it's sad that we got to that point. And I think a lot of us talk about feeling lonely and what's happened to the world. Everyone's on their phones and stuff. But some of you guys are adding to this. You're speaking to your service workers like that. You're the one coming into a place where you know you're going to have to talk to someone, another human, yet you're on your phone. So we all need to work together to be better. When you walk into a space, acknowledge the person working there. Just a smile, a nod, just a hello, just something simple. Acknowledge them. Before you go to kick off about something, think, is this really a big deal? Is this really affecting me that much? Is it really that person's fault who I'm having to go at? Are they just trying to get by and make money and just do their job like we all are? Just really think about these things before we go to kick off, before we ignore the person at the desk, before we judge them for maybe not having a massive smile on their face. That's another thing that annoys me. When people come in and they make a comment about like you maybe not looking like you're in a good mood or something, which one? That could just be your resting face. Some people's resting face isn't just like a big smile all the time. But also it's like, just think to yourself, they might have just dealt with someone really angry and they might be just kind of taking a moment to just breathe so that they're ready for the next thing they have to deal with. Just be a little bit more understanding and think about what comes out your mouth, because words can really affect someone, and it's obviously up to us how we receive what someone is saying to us and how we then act. But still, we all need to do our bit. Just think about what you're saying. And I don't know, people are just making such big things over small things these days, and you have to just think, does it really matter? Is this worth ruining my day and the other person's day who I'm about to shout at? Anyway, guys, I am going to leave this one here. Again, there's so many more examples I could give, but I don't want to go into specifics, and I just wanted to touch upon how working in customer service and as a receptionist can feel these days. A bloody another one I just thought about is people shouting over one another. People don't have patience these days. Sorry, I was just thinking about myself at work. And something that happens a lot as well is when I am on the phone at the desk and it's just me there, and someone comes in and they have the nerve to start asking me something when they can clearly see I'm on the work phone and talking to a customer over the phone, and they start huffing and puffing, and they wouldn't have even waited 1 minute. And I just think that it's unbelievable, the patience. We're expected to have loads of patience as the worker there with these people, but they are allowed to have zero patience when they come in. It's unbelievable. Like actually trying to talk to me whilst I'm on the phone and then huffing when I don't acknowledge them because I'm trying to listen to the person on the phone. And again, even when I'm talking to someone at the desk, I've had people come in before and start talking over the person I'm already dealing with. It's unbelievable, guys. I feel like I've said unbelievable so many times. But yeah, I just want to talk about the realities of working as a receptionist and in customer service in 2026. And yeah, I just want you guys to know, if you're feeling this way, that this is happening, because sometimes I feel like people who don't do it as a job can be quite dismissive about it. But guys, I'm here to say I feel you. It can be very, very draining, and I do personally think it's got worse, and people are getting harder to deal with. But just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And yeah, anyway, guys, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna leave you, and I will see you in the next one.